What's up, guys? Life of an Average Show podcast here. A very tired Brandon Avera. I don't know why this light is making me look like pale, like I'm a vampire. I'm not this pale. I need to fix my light. I have a light. Oh, I didn't turn on the light. I just have this one. And you know why I have this one only? Because it's like 5:30 in the morning and I'm recording an episode. So the light is freaking me out. I'm really not a vampire. I'm actually getting ready to go work out. I've been doing real good on that lately. I've been running. I'm down about 5 pounds. I need to lose like 5 or 10 would be dope. So, because I know what's going to happen when you eat a little, when you drink a little, and it's going to come up. But yeah, God, this paleness is creeping me out. Anyway, um, that being said, we got like Thanksgiving creeping up. Isn't that weird? It literally went from October to Thanksgiving. I feel like by the time I'm done eating my last pumpkin pie piece, it'll be Christmas morning. And that just happens. I've talked about it 100 times. Like that just happens. Like the year just flies by. I got a lot going on this week, guys. I got sick stuff going on this week. Big Black Friday event for all you craft beer heads. Come see me. You know where I'm at. Doors open at 6. Beer sales, alcohol sales start at 7. You know where I'll be. So I got a huge event Black Friday. Text me, DM me, message me if you want to talk about that. But I was kind of thinking about a few things. And I to be honest, guys, I don't really know where this podcast is going to go. Um, but I was kind of looking at how we fuel ourselves. We fuel ourselves with food and sleep and working out and all that. But I had this situation, and I think I talked about it, and I might be I might be making a big deal out of it. I had two situations. I want to talk about the first one for a minute. So every now and then, I like to go have lunch with my son at school. I think it's important. I do, especially at that age. There's going to be an age where he don't care. He's like, "Dad, what are you doing here? I'm 30, and I'm working, and you're sitting down with me with a Happy Meal." But I'll be like 60 something. No, I won't. I'll be like 70 something. Shit. Um, but I still won't care. I'll be like, I'll probably be wearing the city like, bro. Um, but it's important, I think, and I see the smile on his face, and I see the joy that it brings, and I love when he says bye to me. I know that sounds weird, but I love when he says bye, like bye, Dad, because it's excitement, and he always looks back a couple times. So they do it kind of cool this year. Yeah, I really miss his like preschool and even kindergarten. I felt like they told you more. They got you like there was more communication. Um, I know as he gets older, that communication drops, and I don't know, man. Just hate it, but they do it kind of cool this year. They have a separate area, like you could just like you just sit in this separate area with the kids. They have their table with the classes, and then they have this. It's up on stage, and there's like 4 or 5 tables, and you sit there. You don't got to obey by the rules. Like they have this thing. I think it's called chow time. It's the last 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes where there's no talking, and they focus on eating. And I understand that because number one, I talk a lot, so I get it. Number two, my kid talks a lot, so he also gets it because it's you talk so much and then you don't get to eat all your food and then you only get a little snack later and you're hungry, and you're going out for recess and then you got PE and all this stuff. So I understand that. I get that. One of the other things that I think is cool is that there's not a lot of parents up there, so it's not like it's this crowded place. They do show up, but we get to talk and we get to hang out. And sometimes I bring them lunch. Sometimes it's packed lunch. He's like, "No, Dad, I don't want anything." I always bring him a treat regardless. I've brought my lunch once, and I don't do this every week. And I usually try to do it on a Friday, or I'll do it on a day like, let's say I dropped him off at school on Thursday, and I'm not going to see him till Sunday. He's at his mom's house. Um, whatever. Or like I was getting ready to go out of town, so I'm going to go have lunch with you. Things like that. I just think I don't know. I just think it's important. So we talk, we hang out, and then I went one time and we were having lunch, and he threw all his stuff away, and then he was getting ready to go. They called him up to go get in line for recess, and when they do that, they call his class. I give him a hug, bye dad, bye dad, and he goes in line, and it's quiet in line, because the kids are excited, and I understand you've got to kind of control the chaos. I get that, but as Luke's walking, he's not even in line yet. Some kid says, "Hi, Luke," and he waves. And the teacher's like, "Who said that?" And I'm like, chill out. And nobody says anything. Obviously, my son's not a rat. And he turns around and looks at me, and I wave. And I was like, "Bye, buddy. Bye, hip hop." And he goes, "Bye, Dad." And the teacher looks at him and goes, "Luke, sit down and try it again quietly." So I look at her and I go, "Really?" And she turns around and looks at me and I go, "Really? Can't say bye to his dad?" And I look at Luke and I'm like, "You're good, dude. Don't worry about it. Turn around. Go back." Now, Luke doesn't want to get in trouble, and I'm not trying to sit here and tell him to defy authority, but I'm also sitting here understanding, number one, I got your back. Number two, lady, sit down. You're a freaking lunch lady, okay? Your power is nothing. You're not a teacher. You're a freaking volunteer lunch lady. At best, you get paid for it. At best. That's it. But you got no authority. And what are we doing here? Like how big of a deal is it? And somebody was like, "Well, Brandon, you know, they said you got to follow the rules. Like you don't want your son to be talking online. Like, look, I said bye to him. Yeah, he could have waved, but he got excited. Bye, Dad. And we're gonna punish him for that when he was walking there from an area that is excluded from those rules. He doesn't talk in line. So I sent him back up, and she looked at me, and I was like, "What? Say something, please." And the guy behind me is like, "You gotta be kidding me, man." And so she left. I gave Luke the, got your back. And then we went another time, and I'm getting to the point of this. I get it because it does have to do with the pod, this episode anyway. So I get to this other time where I am at the school for a book fair. And my son has it in his head that he needs these big, giant chapter books that are obviously too difficult for him to read at this stage in his learning. I don't know why. He's just excited about it because he's not a kid anymore. I don't want little kid books. And in all fairness, I kind of understand that because a lot of the books his age at 7, even some of the bigger quote unquote chapter books, are very generic. It's like they don't take into consideration that parents will be reading and helping their kids. So they're all these like 20-page, 5 sentences books about a weird cat that has emotions and thinks he's a fish. I don't know. So I understand that. Sometimes those are funny, but he wants a deeper story. I mean, even when him and I are working on his comic book, as he calls it, it's a deeper story. It started off very generic. It was his version of Captain Underpants fighting a bunch of robots. But now these robots have plotted like their secret bases underground and all this stuff. And it's kind of cool because that's where his mind is and his imagination is. That's where he thrives. And I'm not trying to hinder that. But I will say I try to focus or get him to get a book that he can help, or I should say practice reading and practice reading with me and help him in his vocabulary. And then I allow him to get like a bigger book. I'm not having him buy like Stephen King, but he might go into that 4th grade level. That's just what he wants. And him and I will read it together. And I watch him. He opens those books and he practices. So he's looking at these books. And I said he could get one. Now, sidebar, I bought him 2. I bought him one there that he could take home. And then I signed up for one online to be sent to the house for Christmas. He had to know about. That book that I signed on online is a funny one that he picked, but it is in his range. But the book that he got is called A Night Divided. It's about a 4th grade level. It's pretty thick. It's got like 200 pages. And it's about a family that gets separated when the Nazis invaded Germany. I mean, it's pretty intense for I'm not sure what's going on. My phone, I put it on silent down here, and it's just vibrating like crazy. It's making me angry. Everything's making me angry today. But it's a pretty intense book. I mean, but it's also a very good book. It's historical fiction. He's asked me a ton of questions about Nazis, like because they've learned about the war a little bit. And look, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. He's read it a couple times. I mean, he's read a couple pages. We're reading it together, but he's looking, and the lady's like, "Hi, honey, do you need help finding something?" Like, first off, don't talk to my kid like he's a stray kitten. Like, can we talk normal? I'm not saying I haven't done that. Like, hey, buddy, what's up? Or like, especially a younger kid than Luke, like, hey, man, But can we talk to kids like they're adults or like they're human beings, and not some cat that you're about to give a treat to? I don't know. Let's just call me crazy. Um, and that's what I've always done with him since he was a baby. I'm not saying I've ever been like, oh, dude, look at you, you're so cute. But I've always talked to him like I'm doing my podcast. And I think that that's helped him in his vocabulary. Um, and he's like, no, thank you. And I was like, he's looking at books. And she's like, well, these are a little bit too old for him. He won't be able to read them. He should go over here. First off, let me tell you everything that's wrong with that. Number one, shut up. Okay. You don't know my son. Don't tell me or him what he should do in front of him and what he can't do in front of him. I got an idea. Better way of saying it. Hey, these books are a little bit big, but we've got some really cool ones that I think you'll like over here that, are still very good and a little bit big if you want a chapter book. You're not shooting him down. You're not telling him he can't do something, and you're helping the situation out. You're also feeding his ego a little bit, which is good, and you're giving him that confidence. Not no, you can't do that. You know how many times kids hear no, you can't do that? No, you can't do that. Well, why can't he do that? I'm his dad. So I looked at her. I said, well, I can read. We're gonna read them together. Oh, you're gonna do that? Yeah, because I'm a dad. You dumb bitch. I said it. I told you I'm in a bad mood. Why don't you go sit down? The fuck are you? I gotta stop. So, guys, parental warning here. I'm sorry. Okay, I am on fire right now. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. Like, I don't need you to tell me what. So I go, Luke, pick out what you want, buddy. I'm gonna show you where these other books are, but pick out what you want. Well, we went to her supposed section, and this is the problem. It's garbage. It's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on steroids. It's the dog walked the cat to the park, and the park said, no, you can't play today because it's raining. I understand that it's there to help them, but what's the difference? If he's trying to read and we're looking at a book together and I'm his father and I'm going to read with him, I'm going to help him with that, who's to tell me that the vocabulary in the book that he wanted is any worse than the cheesy lines that he's working on? I understand sight words and all that. I get it. But so we bought the book. Middle finger to you, lady. And I ordered him one and we left. And I'm like, and Luke looks at me and goes, Dad, what was she talking? Why did she want me to buy that? I go, look, people are going to tell you can't do things in life because you don't know how. But that doesn't mean you should never try. And that doesn't mean you can't practice. This book is going to be hard for you to read on a regular basis. You're not going to be able to pick it up and glance through it. You're just not. And that's okay. It's okay. Because you're learning and I'm here and we can read it together. And you can read it on your own. And when you get stuck, you can ask for help because that's okay because you're learning. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you. Okay. That drives you, man. That's going to drive him. That's going to motivate him. That feeds him. His dad believes in him. I didn't lie to him. I didn't lay the groundwork to set him up for failure. I helped him out. So, what are we doing as a society to shoot people down? I was thinking about work. And I don't need a pat on the back for everything. I don't. I think my work speaks for itself. I've got 1,000 opportunities to grow, just like anybody, at any job, at anything in life. But those vote of confidence, that vote of confidence, that support that you get from your job when you're planning an event or you're planning something or you're looking at a sales goal and you're almost there, it does feed you, when you do all that effort. And for me, and I can only relate it to an event right now, is you plan a lot. You plan an event that's never been done before, that is a little bit complicated, but you believe in it. It's not gone off perfectly, but then you have an amazing result and an amazing reception. I can't tell you how good that feels and how exhausting it is afterwards when you have that sigh of relief. And you get a couple little, hey, all right, but sometimes the people that you're not necessarily trying to impress, but you want them to be like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, you got this. This is unique. You don't hear anything from. You're like, oh, okay. I guess that's it. You're shooting your shot because maybe you're trying to climb somewhere. You're trying to get something. But those moments do feed you. And I don't care how old you are. You need that. And sometimes, yeah, you got to put your head down and do the work all the time. I do that. I put my head down. I do the work. But sometimes you get exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, and you realize, man, ain't nobody around here, like to kick me in the butt. There's no Debo around here. Tell me to get back up. You just won this. You just became number one in this. But I'm tired, and I gotta push through. And man, I don't even know if the support is there. That can be a little disheartening, and you need to feed yourself. You need to feed your soul. You need to feed yourself to get going again. Look, I've had it with this podcast. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to do this episode right now. I don't. I'm tired. I'm over it. But I've had it with this podcast, man, at times. There's a lot of changes coming to the way that I present this in January because I have to, because otherwise, no matter how good I am, I'm going to get tired and burned out. And I'm not a quitter when it comes to this, man. And people don't realize that sometimes you have like weeks. I had a show weeks. Man, I only had like 10 people listen to it. I'm not afraid to say it. 10. I was like, I might be able to name all 10 of those. And then all of a sudden it jumped up to 30 and 40. And then it hit like 80 and 90 and 150. I think it capped off at like 206 or something. And I was like, okay. But when you do that, I've noticed, and maybe it's because we're all busy, but I've noticed that the numbers are dwindling in that first week. And it used to be the opposite. It used to be really big in that first week. And I don't know if I'm just reaching the wrong people. So it gets exhausting when like you put a lot of work into this and I've just got new equipment and I'm making some tweaks to the home studio. And then I've got a new logo coming and I don't want to give it all away, but I got stuff coming, and I'm like, cool. I was 10 people going to listen to it, and it's going to take me like 5 months to get to 200 people. You need that boost, So when I catch somebody out of nowhere at work, or I get a random text, not even a text, somebody hit me up on TikTok. Bro, I just found your podcast. I follow you on here. I just found your podcast. Well, first off, I don't know how you follow me on TikTok and I know I have a podcast, but okay. It's like, bro, this is great. You should mend more of this stuff on TikTok. And I'm like, I do, but that's kind of not what I'm doing over there. It's not with the success I had on TikTok. So, and who knows if TikTok's going to be around January 19th. So, but that's cool, man. And I don't need everybody to listen, man. I don't, but the people that feed you, because I don't care what you say, man. You can do it by yourself. You can sit there and grind by yourself. You can have the success with nobody's help. I understand that. I'm just saying at 46 years old, sometimes it's nice to get a quick, good job. Whatever that may be. And I tell this all the time. I don't need accolades. Somebody told me, hey, man, got to go to this meeting, man, so you can tell everybody what you did, man. What I did is in the numbers. Look at my numbers. That's what I did. If you can't look at my numbers and see what I'm doing, and I need to brag about myself, then I don't know what to tell you. I believe that the hard work pays off. Yeah, you got to stand out. Yeah, you got to move and shake. And I do that. I do some things that maybe other people aren't thinking of. I got a way with people that, I'm good at. But I'm not going to sit there and come in and brag about myself. But it would be nice after months. You sit there and you get somebody to go, dude, I just saw this, man. I just looked at this and holy crap, that was great. Or they listen to an episode, man. I had somebody hit me up the other day. Dude, I've been listening to your show. I've been going back and listening to it. I picked it up in September. Man, all your episodes in October were fire, dude. And he's like, dude, I had to go back and listen to it from day one. I knew you've been doing it, but I pick up an episode here and there. But dang, dude, like that means something to me, man. But I'm still going to put my head down, whether it's one person, 500 people, nobody says anything. I still put my head down, but I got to feed myself. And if you don't feed yourself properly, if you don't give yourself that time to process what's going to happen, to plan what's going to happen, to take those things and put them in the drawer. Hey, man, I'm really stressed on money, but I got to put this in the drawer because bringing that stress to work ain't going to help. Hey, man, I've got issues with my kids. I got to put that in the drawer. I'm not getting rid of it, but I got to knock this podcast out because I can't just sit and sulk and veg out and binge watch all day. Man, I got to get up at 5 because you know what? My son is going to get up and I got to pack his lunch. But you know what? If I don't get up at 5 to get my coffee and have that time to myself before my busy day starts, from what I do with him to what I do while he's in school to what I do with him after school, then my mind isn't going to be right. I'm feeding myself that opportunity. And I'm not saying I'm good at it all the time. It's just simple things like making the bed. I find that if I don't make my bed, I feel really crappy. Guys, I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying I do it all the time. But there's nothing like a good feeling when you come home and like those sheets are tucked in, they're clean, the comforter's on. So when you go to bed, you just slide in. It's a peaceful place. Your bedroom should not be a stressful place. If your bedroom is uncomfortable and stressful, you're not going to get any good sleep. And that's why I need a new bed soon. But those things matter. Coming home to a clean house, yeah, in a perfect world, we could do that all the time. It doesn't exist. But when you have the time, you're like, you know what? There's nothing like it when I put that music on and I just start cleaning. Kitchen, bathrooms, Luke's room, my room, vacuum, litter box. I mean, I don't say I like the litter box, but that's a moment that feeds you. Number one, it's an accomplishment. Number two, it feeds you like you're ready to roll. So when you go to work, I've had to look at people and say, look, man, don't come at me. I'm busy today. I don't have time to sit and do this, that, and the other thing. I'm on a mission today. And you're either with me to help me out with that mission. You've got something to say to me to feed me through the day that's relevant to what I'm about to do. Well, I need you to stand out of the way, man. And I know that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Well, by the time you guys listen, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to go to work for 6 hours, make some money, sell some stuff, and leave. But come Friday, I'm on a mission. I got a big Black Friday thing. First time they've done something big like this at the current location I'm at. And I got a lot riding on me. That's back-to-back weeks with a lot riding on me. People watching. I need people to stand out of my way tomorrow, today, and Friday and let me cook. But I got to prepare myself. So I'm not going to stay up all night drinking. I'm going to get my workout in today. I'm going to get my workout in on Thanksgiving. I'm going to get my workout in on, probably not going to get my workout in on Black Friday. But because of that, I'm going to bed early on Thanksgiving. Because I'm feeding myself. I know what's coming. And then it ain't over yet. And that's why all these moments are so important. And even with your kids. And feed them properly, man. You know how bad I feel when I get onto my son? Not because, I'm like, oh, I made him upset. That's what I'm saying. But there's certain times I say stuff and it might be a little too harsh. I'm not saying I curse him out or anything like that. But I gotta put myself in check and be like, hey, man, I'm sorry I said that to you. I stand by, like, you needed to do this or you shouldn't do this. But the way I delivered it, man, that's not okay. I love you. Let's move on. Because I think it's important as parents that we call ourselves out. That feeds them. You know, everybody's like, oh, he can't be your friend, your kid's friend. Yeah, I understand that. Doesn't mean we can't be friendly. It doesn't mean we got to be dicks. You know, treat your kid how you want to be treated. Yeah, you're gonna have to do a little. You're gonna have to be a little harder on them at times. Yeah, you're gonna have to, say some things you don't want to say. Feed them. And the other night, man, I told my son to go to bed. Like, it was time to brush his teeth, and he's like, Dad, can I get a couple more minutes? And I go, no, buddy. It's a school night, baby. We got to read tonight. And I noticed that he got a little, and walked up on his stairs to his bunk bed. And I went to read, and he kind of turned away, and I couldn't hear him cry, but I sensed something. I said, buddy, what's going on? And he looked at me, and his eyes, and I was like, babe, man, bro, what's up? And he's like, I just wanted to have a couple minutes to spend with you on the couch because I'm not going to see you tomorrow. Bruh. Stake through the heart. And I'm like, okay, bud, I got you. This wasn't a situation of, hey, man, I just want to watch TV. Dad, no, I want to finish the show. I want to play. He sat on the couch, man. He cuddled right up next to me. He just wanted to feel something. He just wanted those couple minutes. And really, what's it going to matter? 5, 10 minutes. I can't do that every night with him because then he takes advantage of it. But this wasn't a matter of him playing. He needed to be fed that love. He needed that moment. So I gave it to him. I needed that moment. I told him I loved him. I said, man, I love you. Man, I'm sorry, but you know why I said this, right? And but like it was instant. It was instant change. He didn't get up and run around. He curled up next to me. I had my arm around him. We watched the show in quiet silence, and he was just better. And he was okay that he didn't push it like, hey, Dad, can we read now? He was just like, Dad, I'm going to go to bed. I love you. Gave him a big hug. See you in the morning. Okay. He needed to be fed. It's our job to feed our kids. It's our job to feed ourselves. It's our job to feed other people. Sometimes you got to look at somebody. I had a conversation the other day with a girl. She was down, man. I was like, look, boom, boom, boom. Let's have this moment. What would I be if I stood by and watched her be down and did nothing? You got to feed. Sometimes you need that. I don't care how strong you are. I would duck my head down and work through a lot of BS. I've worked through deaths. I've worked through the divorce. I've worked through freaking 102-degree temperature, 103 probably, sweat. I've worked with no sleep. I was at work when it was time to have a baby. I will. And my kid was at home sick. This is when I was married and my wife was with him. And I just wanted to be home, but I had to work. You know how stressful it is, especially as a little baby? But sometimes you need somebody to be like, bro, get the hell out of here. Or, hey, man, we're done for the day. Or whatever that boost is. Hey, man, kids are resilient. And maybe that's all you need. It's our job to boost and feed people. So I'm going to go and feed myself right now. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go run, and I'm going to get focused, laser sharp focus, so I can go to work and I can rock it and nail this week and go into December, like the last month of the year. And then we're going to come back with some fun episodes. But that's it for me today. Y'all have a good one. Take care.